Well, hello everybody, it's Jess here, and today I'm making a video which is a prologue to my new series, which will be about programming. Now, I'm sitting here looking at my desktop with a Dropbox paper open. Today I'm gonna write down everything which is connected to this project and series. Well, first of all, let's give this thing a name. So I'm planning to make a Gwent clone. The Gwent is a card game in Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which was then re-released as a standalone game. So I'm gonna be making a Gwent game clone, meaning that it will be kind of a stripped down version and it won't be that advanced, but still it will be a playable game. Okay, so we can give this a name called Gwent clone. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, this is a game, right? So maybe some of you thought that I'd make this game, for example, in Unity or Unreal Engine or some game engine like that, but I, first of all, am a web developer, so I'm gonna try to make this game without actually using anything software related and make this a web app. What do I mean by that? Well, think of it as like this. I'll make a backend and I'll make a front end. On the front end, I'll have the game itself, which will be controlled by the backend. So let's just write down some just basic information about this. So let's just write like Gwent clone game web app. So as I see it right now, we'll have a database which will hold our users and our games and our cards and decks and things like that. I haven't actually planned really anything. I just kind of brainstormed what the database for that will look like a bit, but I haven't really gotten into the details, so we're just gonna do this at the same time. So I'm doing this with you. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about the backend. The backend is a thing which kind of controls everything from the back. So it's not really visible to the people playing for the game, but it has a connection to the server, connection to the database, and connection, and it handles the connection between the clients and things like that. So let's do backend here, and let's make this h2 like this. So first of all, let's comment about what will we have in the backend, so how it will be laid out and what packages will we use. So this whole thing will be made in Node.js. So next thing is what server I'm gonna use, what package for that. I'm gonna be using Express.js for making an HTTP server and serving clients. Next up is we're gonna need a database to hold all the information about the games and users and things like that. So I'm gonna be using a database called PostgreSQL. It's an SQL database engine, but it has some it is different from MySQL. It has some things which I'm primarily used to, and it will make this easier for me. But if you really want to just come along and do the same, you can use whatever you want, and I will try to help you with that. But just know that even though I may know some things about programming and doing web, I don't know everything, so it might be hard for me to help you that way if you use something different. Okay, well, we have PostgreSQL, but well, we need an easy way to talk to that database, right? So I'm gonna use Sequelize. Sequelize, to put it in the simple words, is a library which makes connection, which makes communication with databases easier. Meaning you don't have to write the queries yourself. Everything is kind of written for you, and you're using functions to do everything. So it just makes everything easier and just works like a charm. Now, we will also need some kind of authorization, right? So I'm not really sure about what I will use here, but most probably I will use something called Passport.js. Let's pull up the Passport.js page here. Okay, so the explanation on the website is a pretty good one. So Passport, simple, unobstructed authentication for Node.js. Passport is an authentication middleware for Node.js, extremely flexible and modular. Passport can be unobtrusively dropped into any Express-based web application. And so, to put in very simple words, this helps us to manage our authentication. So when somebody signs up, when somebody logs in, what happens, how does the server know that somebody is logged in, and things like that. And also, good thing about it is that we have these things called strategies. Strategies are kinda already written things for Passport which handles authorization. For example, we can have Passport strategy of Facebook, which will incorporate Facebook authentication to our website, web app. Also, we can have Google, Twitter, and many different things. So that makes things very easy, and let's just use Passport.js, okay? Or I might think of something else, and if that happens, I will let you know. Okay, so what else do we need on backend? Well, let's see. We have our Node.js, we have Express.js server, we have PostgreSQL as our database, we have Sequelize, which will handle the database things, and we have Passport.js. Anything else we will need will come as we go through the project. We will need many packages and many things which really aren't the things which you write the first. It just comes by and you'll install packages and do things as they go. So, okay, then that means that we can move on to the front end. Okay, so the front end is what you see when you go to any site or web application or something like that. The thing you're looking at right now, the writer itself, the Dropbox thing, is the front end. And the saving of the content I wrote is the part what backend does. Just to simplify that once more. So, for front end, sorry for misspelling, but I can't really see my keyboard right now, and that's why I misspell so much. So, for frontend, I'm gonna be using a JavaScript library called React.js. And let's pull up the React.js webpage here. Okay, React.js. So, the simplest explanation is here, a JavaScript library for building user interfaces. So, For example, instead of HTML, we're gonna be using JSX. You can think of JSX as HTML plus JavaScript, or you can think of HTML which is injected into JavaScript. This is a very good example here. So we are going to be using something called components. Component is a block, a thing of the website. We have a hello message component. So component itself has many different functions if you need them, but to actually see anything on the screen, we use something called render function. So what we return in render is JSX, and that JSX is displayed right here. So we have a div made, and in this name, in this div, we have hello, and this is JSX way of injecting variables. So what does this do? So this .props.name. So props are properties which you pass down to components. So here we are, this is the main thing which renders everything, right? So here we use our hello message component like this, and we give it as a prop, as a property called name is Taylor. So we have hello Taylor, but if we, for example, do Jess, it's gonna write hello Jess. I mean, this may be hard for you to understand, and if it is, I think that this isn't the best video series for you, because I'm gonna try to explain everything as I go, but this thing is really for intermediate people who know how to code and will understand everything here. Okay. Next, React.js, yeah, of course, is our front-end framework. So in here, we're gonna be displaying our users, we're gonna be displaying our rooms of games, and the game itself will happen here, and we're gonna communicate to the backend. So the first thing which comes to my mind right now, okay, so really we'll need to have a real-time communication with our backend, because, well, this really is something that needs to update real-time. So how can we do that? Well, on the backend side and on the front-end side, we're gonna be using something called Socket.io. And let's pull up the Socket.io page here. Come on, internet, come on. Okay, so let's see, do they have a good explanation here? Socket.io enables real-time, bi-directional and event-based communication. It works on every platform, browser or device, focusing equally on reliability and speed. So, just for example, take a chat application like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or something like that. The users in chat need to be updated real time if the other user has written something, sent a message or something like that. By the default, we don't have real-time communication, and this package here allows us to make this real-time communication, and in the terms of our game, we will need this when we're actually playing the game. So when I move the card, for example, and when I play the card, and when I finish my move, the other guy who's playing with me needs to be notified that I did that in real time. Otherwise, there will be many problems. Okay. So, what else do we need? Let's think about that. So we have our real-time communication, we have everything for authorization and things like that. We have React.js for the front end, we have Socket.io, and I can write down a couple of more packages here which will, for example, handle sending requests from our front end to back end. But those things really, as I said, are the things you install and you get as you go. So, okay, if something comes to my mind, and I know that it will, because probably I have missed a great thing and I have missed a big point here, but let's talk about tools. Okay, what are we gonna use as, for example, our text editor? For text editor, I'm gonna be using Visual Studio Code. It's a brilliant text editor. It has support for many languages. It has very good IntelliSense, which for those who don't know what it is, basically is after completion for the code. And it's a very powerful thing. It's very modular. You can install many themes, you can customize it as you want, and for me personally, it's my first primary choice, and it makes my workflow faster. So that's why I'm gonna be using Visual Studio Code. Okay, next, of course, I'm gonna be using ESLint. ESLint is a okay, first, before I go to that, I'm gonna say what a linter is. Linter is a thing which tests your code for flaws, and it notifies you if you have problems in it, and generally makes the code cleaner. So I need to decide what will I use. So there's the possibility I'm gonna write everything here in JavaScript. JavaScript is a very well-known language, which, I mean, if you don't know anything about JavaScript or haven't heard about it yet, well, really, what are you doing here? But there's a thing which many of you might already know called TypeScript. Okay, please. Yeah. Well, what is TypeScript? TypeScript is a typed superset of JavaScript that compiles to plain JavaScript. Let's translate that sentence, okay? So, in JavaScript, we have no type safety, really. So, any function can return anything, can do everything. We never say that a variable needs to be, for example, a string or an integer number or something else. We don't have interfaces which will create complex data types in JavaScript. And TypeScript is everything I said right now and many things more. It's a really good tool it's a really good, I guess, a programming language. Kinda, not full. It's JavaScript, but added types. So we can kinda abstractly, generally call it a programming language. It's very good to have, because it saves you a lot of time in the long term, and you know that your code is, first of all, easy to read, because types and things like this do that. It makes the code easier to read. Your code is easily maintainable, and well, to be honest, there are many other reasons, but one of the reasons I want to use it right now is that I'm just getting into the TypeScript, and I don't know much about it, but I know a couple of things, basic things, and there's a challenge part in me telling me that I should use TypeScript because, well, it's gonna be a good experience. I'm gonna, first of all, make a WebApp game with it, and also I'm gonna just learn that TypeScript in the process of making it. So now that I thought about it, and now that I explained kind of what it is, and if you want a deeper explanation, I will link everything, every package I'm using here and everything I'm using here in the description. And you can check out there. Here's the page of that. We have a quick start and we have a big documentation which will help you understand everything. The good thing about TypeScript documentation is that it has even a 5-minute tutorial which gets you up running and tells you the basics, and from there you can read for the documentation, see examples on the GitHub, and do things like that, and you'll be learning it very fun and nicely. And we also have, for example, a quick start for React, Angular, Express, and things like that. Okay, so this is not a tool really. This is not a backend thing. This is not a frontend thing. The TypeScript is generally everything. So okay, let's put it in tools, but I might just put that somewhere else here. So if we're using TypeScript, we're gonna be using TSLint. As I said, the linting software is something that checks your code for flaws and problems and gives you warnings and errors. Many different programming languages have their own linters, and TSLint is for the TypeScript. Okay. Well, what else? TSLint. We're gonna be using Nodemon, which is a way to start the server. For example, it automatically notices when you change things in the code, and when you save files, it all automatically reboots the server, and that's it. But that's really not a thing I'm gonna be writing here. Well, tell you what. Everything here is the very, very, very basic structure and information, right? I'll add some database information, and I'll make videos about the process of thinking about it, and then we will go into actual coding. So, for now, this is all. I'm gonna be going away with this, and I'm gonna be adding some things to this, and I will keep you updated. And the series itself will launch either as this week goes or the following week. I'm gonna say that everything I will code here will be not fully blind, but partially blind. Before the recording of the videos, I will think about it, and I will make a basic plan of things I need to do, but anything else will be made by me blindly. So things may not be that organized, that clean, that optimized, and for that I will upload the whole code to GitHub, and you can be a contributor if you think that I have made a flaw or something like that, or I have made a bug, and you can help me to do that. That way you can connect better. So for now, this is all. Thank you for watching. I will leave information in the description, and keep on rocking.